under the same roof, we share the love, embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. We have Bordeaux here. We have Mashona. Welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also, we have Eric in the building. Thank you very much. We have sort of an exciting show tonight. We're going to go through the history of Donald Trump and Epstein. That's the hot topic for now. It's still on the chart, folks. Everybody wants to know what's happening, what really went down, how far, how deep was their relationship, right? So, over the years, there have been so many videos that have come out about Donald Trump and Epstein. So I've compiled quite a few of these videos, and tonight we're going to go through each one by one, to determine what's really going on. Is there anything really there to be concerned about? And you can come to your own conclusion at the end of this show to see if there's something to research further. Maybe something you'll see tonight will prompt you to do more digging. However, when it comes to many of the individuals that are in Donald Trump's fold, especially when it comes to MAGA, it appears that quite a few of them are the ones that are leading the pack when it comes to these videos. And also, they want them to release the files, release the list, right? This is what we keep hearing. I thought it would be just a matter of a short period of time that we would hear them talk about this. However, it goes on and on. So let's have at it and see what's really going on. Nikki is in the building. Thank you very much. Thanks for showing up. It's always a pleasure to have you here too. So let's get right to it, folks. And I can't wait to hear what you think about these particular videos. Do not hold back. Share your feelings, share your concerns. Let us know what's on your mind when it comes to this subject. You'd be surprised how many people are so committed to getting to the bottom of this epidemic with Donald Trump and any association with Epstein, which has not been necessarily proven that something nefarious has happened, but people want to know. All right, let's have at it. Okay, so in that video, Epstein says he was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years. That's out of Epstein's mouth. Here's another video that brings concern.
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
I have a deal with her. She's just 17 and she's doing great, Ivanka, and she made me promise her, swear to her, that I would never date a girl younger than her. So, Howard, as she grows older,
right,
the field is getting very limited severely. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the nerve of her. Now you can't go out with 16-year-olds.
I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12.
Okay, so in that video, Donald Trump said he promised his daughter that he would never date someone under 17. Now, these are videos that are online. Allegedly, these are authentic videos, but who knows what in this day and time. But we're just going through it. We have Sippin' Lib Tier says, this is something. Okay, thanks for your participation as well. Let's see. Nikki says, happy Sunday, Mel, Bordeaux, and Mashona. Okay, thank you for your comments. Eric says, hello, Mel, Bordeaux, Mashona. Good evening. Okay, thank you for your input. All right, so now he talks about Paris Hilton. Notice what he says.
You know, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, who the hell is that?
Did you want to bang her?
She is well, at 12, I wasn't interested. I've never been into that.
Right.
Okay, so Donald Trump says the first time, allegedly, folks, again, these videos, how can we really authenticate it? But he's saying that when he first met Paris Hilton, she was 12 years old.
But even at 12, you were kind of
No, but I saw her at 12, she was beautiful.
Lindsay Lohan now. I think she's hot. There's something there, right? Yes. But you have to
So he basically said, speaking of Paris Hilton, he says at 12 years old, she was beautiful. Now, this video is an excerpt where he's talking about Lindsay Lohan.
Freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck like the way he is,
Right.
you imagine the sex with this troubled...
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day...
How come the deeply troubled women,
Yes.
deeply troubled,
Right.
they're always the best at...
Have you ever had a personal relationship with...
Okay, so that was about Lindsay Lohan. You heard what was said, folks. So you just have to come to your own conclusion. The words speak for themselves. Now, this is a particular video here of Epstein. He's being questioned at a deposition, and they're asking him about his relationship with Donald Trump. And these are the words that are coming out of Epstein's mouth.
with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Okay, so again, we have the snippet here where Epstein is saying that he was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years. But in the previous video, when asked about, you heard the question, I won't repeat it. Epstein pled the 5th. That's all he could say is, I plead the 5th. What do you think, folks? Sip and Live Tear says, so nothing happened though, LOL. Never been into that. If there's something he did, then there would be evidence. The Democrats had the Justice Department for 4 years and nothing. That's the very argument that Donald Trump has made numerous times. But these are yet the videos that are circulating to try to say perhaps there is some there, but we're just going to take a look at it tonight and see what you guys think. Sippin also says, if he's guilty, he should be punished. Okay. All right. Thank you for your comments, Sippin. Nice to have you here. Seems like you're new, and I welcome you. I definitely do. Nikki says he pled. Yeah, he pled the 5th. That's exactly what happened, and that's from Epstein. Thank you guys for the like, share, and subscriptions. We appreciate each and every one of you. Lisa Murray says the Democrats didn't care about that case. They were trying to win the election. Right. So if there was some there, Donald Trump, he's saying that basically if there was something, they would have brought this out during the election, folks. That's his argument. Okay, Lisa Murray is back. I remember your name. The Democrats didn't care about that. Okay. Reverend Green says, very slick. Okay. And Lisa, thanks for coming back. I remember you from a previous show, so that's awesome. Bordeaux says she's welcoming Reverend Green. Okay, Reverend Green was on the show 2 weeks ago. It's nice having you on. Maybe you could come up today and share some points. I'm going to drop the link. Here's the thing. On our last show, someone came up and they showed vicious nudity. We have a problem with people trying to, sabotage a good thing, folks. So I'm going to proceed carefully. You have to have your camera on in order to come on. And I have to kind of see what's going on with you first, unfortunately, until I get to know your names and understand who's who. Nikki says he pled the 5th. Interesting. Okay, very good. Sippin' Lib Tear says, LOL, they threw everything at him. If they had him on this, they would have used it. Clinton went to the island 28 times. That's what Donald Trump says. He says he didn't go, but he said Clinton went 28 times, allegedly, according to Donald Trump. J. King B says, bro, that could be a mod. Who knows? A bot. Okay, Warwick Lady says, this is a load of crap. Okay, all right. Well, we're going to see. Let's get to it.
Pageant, you go over, you're meeting the girls and stuff. One of them comes up to you and says, Mr. Trump, you're a very sexy man.
You're a beautiful man. You have fantastic hair.
Well, you're a powerful man. Right? You're a powerful man.
Right.
I want to sleep with you. Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No,
Right.
but I mean, you see a beautiful woman, you want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything, right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
conflict?
Yes.
I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And,
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
Yeah, so Donald Trump did own the pageant. That is definitely true in all of this. And allegedly, this is him in his own words. But again, we're just watching the videos that are circulating.
Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like
everything
a doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
She used to be very. She's still very.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that? As the owner of the pageant, if he's saying this, he gets to go and inspect to see what's happening. What do you guys think about that? All right, Slippin says, let's wait for the evidence. Okay, Lisa Murray says, come on, Trump was down with Epstein. Look what he's doing. Lawrence Taylor is a registered sex offender, and Trump put him on his team. Okay, thank you for your input. Bordo says, welcome. Thank you all for being here. Please hit the like for us. All opinions are welcome. Please be respectful with your words in the chat. Yes, folks, and also if you come up, please be presentable on stage. Sippin' Lib Tears says, thinks that's the difference between libs and Republicans. We won't blindly follow, but get the evidence first. Okay, good deal. Gary Ford, welcome. He says, we know from court case 14 times on High Plain Lolita Express, then he and lawyer's line. Okay, lawyer's line. Okay, Reverend Green says, can't come on cam. I have offspring that may have YouTube channels, and I am not finna sabotage their endeavors with my critique. Okay, I appreciate that, but thanks for being here. Gary Ford says 14 documents and flight logs related to Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking network, including those from 2015 civil lawsuit filed by Accuser Virginia. Okay, mentioned Bill. Jay King says, isn't it crazy that all of this is happening with the development of AI? Okay, all right. Fallen Kiwi says, if he did anything, the libs would have used it long ago. That's a consistent argument that we constantly hear, folks. Sipping Lib Tear says, no, that's hearsay, facts, or nothing. There's nothing disrespectful. Okay, Mashona says, Lisa Ray, welcome in and thanks for joining. We want to hear from you. We just ask that you be respectful to each other and watch the language in the chat to respect YouTube policies. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get back to it.
I moved on her, actually. She was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her.
So when Donald Trump was running for president, remember this is the famous video that came out when he was running against Hillary Clinton, and they tried to use this particular video to show that he had some questionable behavior. Let's have, I believe they call this the Access Hollywood video.
And I failed. I'll admit it. Whoa. I did try and fuck her. She was married.
Huge news there.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
Your girl's hot as shit. In the purple.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, the Donald has scored.
Whoa.
Oh, my man.
Okay, so this is the Access Hollywood video. You hear what's happening so far. And again, this was used. They tried to use this against Donald Trump when he was running against Hillary Clinton. I just have to pause the show for 1 minute. One of my moderators is trying to call me. I want to see if there's an issue. Guys, hold on 1 second. Okay, so Bordeaux, if there's an issue, try to call me again. I'm not sure what's going on. Can you guys hear me okay? Is there an issue with the sound? I'm not sure what the issue is. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to well, let me go through a few of these comments first. We have so many comments coming in. Let's see. Okay. Reverend says, yes, sir. Respect. Respect to you, Reverend. Lisa Murray says, sorry about my language, but it's the truth. Okay. Thank you for your participation. I haven't seen anything vulgar, so you're okay in my book. Ishmael says, laugh out loud. Okay. Reverend Green says, Billy Bush did Trump dirty. Okay. You'll have to tell us more specifically what you're referencing. Okay. Mashona says, hi to you, Ishmael. Aryan says Trump is a terrible person. Okay, so we have a lot of people here that are for Trump. We have people that are against Trump, but let's hear what do you guys have to say? I'm going to drop the link again. Bordeaux, I saw you tried to call me. If there's an issue, call me back. I'll pause the show in case the sound is off or not sure what's happening. Okay, so I dropped the link again. If you want to come up, I'll need you to be very respectful for the show for the sake of everybody viewing. Okay, Gary Ford says, documents released by the Department of Justice denies Clinton's spokesperson has stated that he had not spoken to Epstein in well over a decade and was unaware of the crimes Epstein was, and it cut off. Okay, great point. I think there's a lot of validity in what you just said, so thank you for your contribution to the show. I appreciate all the comments, all the likes and subscriptions. Gary Ford says they lied. Okay, are you saying the videos are lies too? This is what's circulating definitely heavily in the Democratic region. All right. Eric says the sound is good. Okay. All right. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you confirming that. Mashona says we can hear. Okay, good deal. Lisa Murray says, how about the lady he let's say intercourse assault violated, we'll use the word violated in the dresser room that he was found guilty. Okay, so you're talking about the New York case, the civil case, right? Okay. All right, Gary Ford, where in the last 3 months has any Democrat or Clintons been asked anything about Epstein? You know, that is interesting. We do not hear anybody talking about Clinton at all, except Donald Trump. Every chance he gets, he says that Clinton was on the island 28 times allegedly, but you do not hear anybody else really talking about Clinton right now. So that's a very good point. All right, Mashona says, want to join the conversation, turn on your camera and be respectful and join. She posted the link as well. Reverend Green says Billy Bush of Access Hollywood was secretly recording Trump in that video. Yeah, that was pretty, man, that's not necessarily good to be going around recording people. Gary Ford, and what year was that? Okay, somebody want to answer Gary Ford? What year was that? Tell us. Okay. Bordeaux says, please hit the like. And Mashona says, welcome in and thanks for joining. We want to hear from you. We just ask that you be respectful to each other and watch your language in the chat. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get back to this Access Hollywood video.
Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your legs.
That is very.
Will you give me the thumbs
Look
up?
at you. You are a.
You gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up.
Can't be too happy. First?
Yeah, let me.
It's very
You
funny.
gotta give me the thumbs up.
You and I will walk down.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
And again, folks, we're going through some of the videos that are in heavy rotation in regards to Donald Trump and perhaps a connection with Epstein, which I don't think anyone has proven anything nefarious. Let's say that for the record. But these are some of the videos that are floating to try to build the narrative that perhaps he was doing questionable activity.
Come on, shorty.
Ooh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
Down below. Pull the hand.
Can somebody tell us what happened to Gerald Ford? He says, don't fall out of the bus like Gerald Ford. I'm pretty sure there's somebody in the audience that can explain that.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Trump, how
Nice
are
seeing
you?
you.
Pleasure to
Terrific.
meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
I'm doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would
bus.
you like a little hug,
Okay,
darling?
absolutely.
How about a
Melania
little
said
hug for
this
the
was
bushy? I
okay.
just got off the bus.
Oh, bushy.
There we go. Excellent. Well,
Come
you've
on.
got a nice co-star here.
Good.
Yes, absolutely.
After you.
Okay, so Green says that it was Billy Bush perhaps allegedly filming this and really got Donald Trump in a lot of trouble. Okay, Content of says, did you know? Desert Fish says, these channels are almost certainly backed by the cop. Believe what you will. Be there are dozens of them all saying something different. Meanwhile, things are going great. Okay, thank you. Mashona says the opinions expressed in the chat are that of the person expressing them and do not reflect the views of the host. Thank you for joining. Okay, thank you, Mashona, for expressing that. Gary Ford says, but that was very true according to Hollywood stars and Howard Stern's show. Okay, so Gary, are you saying that this was not AI as some people are alleging? Are you saying that this is authentic old videos? All right, tell us all about it, Gary, and thank you for your participation. I really appreciate you. Nikki says, wasn't that guy Trump was speaking with get fired from his job? Okay, I would have to look into that. Perhaps he was. Okay, Reverend Green, let's see who can answer Nikki's question. Wasn't the guy Trump was speaking with, did he get fired from his job? Okay, Reverend Green. Billy Bush II. Okay, very good. Reverend Green says, one who got off the bus. Right, that was Billy Bush. Marshmallow, welcome back. Billy Bush lost his career over this. Okay, I assume he lost his career for putting out the information, right? Leaking the video or recording it. Okay, tell us all about it. Content of says ex-president BC made 26, talking about Bill Clinton, 26 visits to Epstein's first trail in Florida to follow up on the proceedings. Okay, thank you for your comment. All right, Nikki says, yeah, that guy Billy Bush. Okay, thank you. Gary Ford says the Playboy Mansion and clubs were full of these women. Oh, okay. Thank you, Gary. Reverend Green says, not AI. So people tend to believe that these are authentic videos. And so far, we haven't had any video that was AI. So we're batting at 100 if you listen to what most people think. Okay. LNN says, hi, and thank you. Welcome. It's nice to see you here. Thank you for your participation. We appreciate everybody. We also appreciate your views. Tell us your comments. If you'd like to come up and chat, feel free to hit the link and come right on up. And Mashona says, if you want to join the conversation, turn on your camera and be respectful and join the link. Okay. Reverend Green says, Billy Bush did not get fired. He got transferred. They did not get fired. Okay. So he didn't get fired. Okay. So now we have this post here from Elon Musk. You know that Elon was the person that was behind Donald Trump for the most part, saying that Trump was on the files or in the list. So let's have at it. So again, that's the recording of Jeffrey Epstein saying that he was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years.
One incident that I think kind of,
Now, usually in the media, we're not getting firsthand accounts, right? In this case, this gentleman here, he's given a firsthand account of what he saw, allegedly, right? He's given his experience of Donald Trump and Epstein.
proves their closeness and how much they hung out together. One time, on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting. The inspectors were waiting at my office. And Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the #3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay. And this guy happened to be a tennis fan. And he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. Okay. So, and to get on a helicopter with a friend and 3 other people and fly down to Atlantic City, I mean, you can connect those dots.
So this guy is putting Donald Trump and Epstein on a helicopter together, traveling together with females as though they were close acquaintances. That's basically all he's saying. He's not substantiating anything nefarious. In fact, he does not state that the girls are underage like the media is trying to present.
They were
at 1:30 in the morning. And just to be clear, the story, when you say underage for the casino, underage for the casino would be 21, right? So necessarily legally underage girls, right? Not in that case.
No, not minor, so to speak, that's been described with Epstein. They were underage to be in the casino, and they knew for fact that one of them was 19 years old.
Next guest, as promised, is Maria Farmer.
Looks like we're having issues with. Okay. All right. Hopefully that fixed it. So it involved a girl 19, underage from the standpoint of being under 21, according to the casino, but not under 18. So it's very important that we get that clear. All right. So we have quite a few comments. And let's have at it. Reverend Green says Rudy Giuliani in drag queen and Trump video is the worst video. Okay, I have not seen that video. Have not even heard of that video. Okay, Gary Ford says, show Democrats in the late 70s glorified it. Even Jesse Jackson had an affair that produced a child that he hid for 20 years. So the glass houses don't throw rocks. Okay, very good point, Gary. Nice. There's double sides here. Nikki says, thanks for responding to Reverend Green. Okay, Nunted Grab Emmy says, MAGA out here defending and dying on the PDF Hill. Okay, all right. Thank you. Mashona says, welcome in and thanks for joining. We want to hear from you. We just ask that you be respectful to each other and watch your language in the chat and adhere to YouTube policies. Okay. Utah Johnny says, yeah, no witnesses, no camera because the casinos don't have cameras, no proof, not a thing. But yeah, this guy is telling the truth. Sure, TDS, go to hell. Okay, that's a good point. He did not show any video, did not really substantiate his claim. Anybody can say anything, but this definitely is what, as you see, it's on CNN. So you have various accounts of people making different statements and so forth. We're just going through it. Gary Ford says, bad talk is not good. Bad behavior is worse. Illegal drugs, we don't use that word. And knowingly participating over and over, okay, is prosecutable. Okay. All right. Make a good point. Thank you, Gary, for all your participation. You keep commenting back to back. We appreciate that. Reverend Green says, look it up. It's from 1995, Entertainment Tonight, Trump with Rudy in drag. You know what? I think I did see that. You're absolutely right. I remember that now. There is I think it was some sort of skit or something, right? I'd have to look into that again. Okay. Truly Free says, nobody cares. Get the illegals out, put Israel in check, and pump the market. Yes, indeed. Pump the market. It's interesting that Truly Free mentioned Israel. Israel is definitely of note right now. It's a big topic. And I find that a lot of the MAGA people, especially the prominent MAGA people, are saying as though they want to draw back on some of their support to Israel when it comes to these wars, especially the war with Iran. Okay. All right. Mashona says, welcome in to Truly Free. And she also says, don't forget to turn on the notifications and don't miss out on the great content. Okay. George Cogswell says, ignorant MAGA. Okay. So again, we have people here from both sides of the aisle, folks. Is anybody here from Elon Musk's new party called the American Party? Is there anybody here representing that party? Lisa Murray says, ask him, where's Katie? Okay, tell us more, Lisa. Tell us more about that. Mashona says, how do you, George? Jesse is here. Who deported the most during their presidency? Definitely Barack Obama. Yes, I could agree to that. It wasn't talked about as much, but you definitely make a solid point. Let's get back to the video.
Who says Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell sexually assaulted her. So she says she saw Trump at Epstein's office late at night in 1995. At the time, she was 25 years old. Epstein had just hired Farmer, who was an artist, to help him acquire art. Farmer urged the FBI to look at Trump's connections to Epstein twice, in 1996 and again in 2006, which, of course, means Trump's name could very well be in those government files that the administration is refusing to release. Maria Farmer.
So this is one of the ladies that has come forward. Do you guys tend to believe people, especially victims, when they come forward? Like even in the case of Sean Diddy Combs, I find that a lot of people don't necessarily believe the victims when there's money involved. They say, well, this person is coming forward because they need money and they're struggling, so they're coming up with a good story. They also want to get a little publicity, folks. So what do you guys think? Tell me what you think about these individuals that we're going to watch now.
Is now suing the government to try to get the unredacted files about the allegations she brought forward about Epstein. President Trump has not been the target of any investigation related to Epstein, nor has he been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in this case. Maria Farmer is out front now for her first television interview, sharing her story since filing her lawsuit, and she is joined by her attorney, Jennifer Freeman. So thanks very much to both of you. And Maria, I want to give everyone a chance to understand exactly what happened here. I mean, you said that Jeffrey Epstein calls you to come to his office and you go, and then you're sitting there waiting and Donald Trump walks in. What happened?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me on, Aaron. I really appreciate it because I need to say up front that I've waited 3 decades to be able to even be heard.
Whether you like it or not, you have to agree that it takes a lot of courage for people to come forward and tell their story on national TV, right? Like, how many people can actually do that to speak up about the president of the United States for such a hot case, right?
About this, because the government has not held any of the people I reported accountable. And so basically the night before I went in, before I began working for Epstein, he called me at very late in the evening and asked me to come up to the Helmsley Palace offices. And I didn't even have money for a subway token. It's kind of embarrassing. So I had to go running up there. And so I told Epstein, I'll be up there. It'll probably take me until...
A common denominator that I've found in a lot of these stories as I've listened to some of these women is that when they first met Epstein, they really had no money, had little means. Very few family members were actually backing them at the time. And I find that to be very troubling for especially young ladies in this world today, because a lot of people go lost or they get trafficked because they're in desperate straits and they end up in the wrong association with the wrong people. Let's look at a few comments before we go back to the video. All right, we have Rena in the building. Okay, thank you for participating. All right, we have Lisa Murray says she was 13 years old. Okay, all right, thank you, Lisa. Could you just clarify which person was 13? Lisa Murray says she dropped the case because she was getting death threats. Oh, wow. Okay, tell us more, Lisa, where you have our attention. Father F says, free America from AIPAC. Okay, thank you. All right. Mashona says, want to join the conversation? Turn on your camera and be respectful. Okay. Lisa Murray says, he knows who is Katie. Okay. Thank you. Oh, okay. You're saying Katie is a 13-year-old. I get it. Nikki says, I believe victims. And yes, it does take a lot of courage. Yes, it does. It takes a lot to come forward. Sometimes even your own family members would speak against you. A lot of people are just afraid to speak up. They're scared, especially when you're going up against somebody that has money And nowadays, everybody's afraid to speak out because the little things you say, you end up with a defamation lawsuit and all sorts of trouble that typically the average person could not afford. And especially a lot of people are having financial difficulties right now. So imagine having to deal with legal woes. It just becomes out of control. Callan, thank you. Callan says, believe. Okay. Tell us more. Explain, qualify that believe. Tell us exactly. MP is back. It's nice to have you back, MP. Why didn't we hold Biden accountable for his family? Every rich person went to that island in hopes of business ventures, period. Give me evidence when he did. What do you think he did? Okay, so far, there's no proof that Donald Trump did anything nefarious on the island or anything of that sort. But these are some of the videos that are floating around. And you get a chance to hear some of the victims that are coming forward telling their story. And I'd like to know, what do you guys think about these individuals speaking out, telling their truth? Some of them seem very believable, just like in the case of Sean Diddy Combs, you know. How do you approach these cases when you hear it? Are you the person that says, oh, here's just another person just yapping and making up lies? Or do you tend to believe first until you learn otherwise? Tell us what you think. Kay says here, if you're going to play breaking news with the subtitle, then let's get to it. You shouldn't be responding to responses. Okay, all right. Thank you, Kay. Not sure. Maybe you could clear that up a bit. Eric says, enjoying the show tonight. Please like. Okay. What I think says Biden didn't ask. Okay. LOL says, tell us more if John Roberts was on the Epstein flight log and he has the power to make a PDF illegal. What are these poor victims ever going to do to get justice? Okay, thank you for your comment. What I think says Trump. Okay, I don't want to say that. Okay, guys, we just have to be very presentable with our comments. We don't want to say anything that goes against YouTube policies. Kay says, I'm just saying, bro, it shows live news on the picture website. Where's the live news other than you're talking? Okay. All right. So thank you for your criticism. We will definitely factor that in. And we're going to think about that and have a big meeting about it tomorrow. Caraccio says, release the Trumpstein files. Okay, let's get back to the video.
Like 9. He's like, okay. So I get there and I'm waiting. It's dark. Like there's no light on in the offices. And I thought that was really weird. So I'm seated against the wall in the main part of the offices and just waiting for Epstein. And he says, I'll be out in a minute, you know, and he's got the door closed. And then a few minutes later, this man walks in a business suit, kind of tall, imposing. And I immediately was like, that's Donald Trump. What's he doing here? I'm supposed to be working for Epstein and interviewing with him. Why is Donald Trump here? And he walked up about, a few feet from me and just stood over me in a very imposing way and looked at me like he was in on some secret or something. It was really weird, like smirking, kind of. And I felt threatened, so I made an ugly face. And when I made that ugly face...
So pay close attention, folks. She's telling her story. This is her experience, right?
Epstein walked out from the offices on this side. Trump's standing here, I'm here. And he walks out of his office and he goes, oh, no. He was laughing at me. And he goes, she's not here for you. Follow me, right? And he escorts him in to this other room. And I always wondered, who was she in there? Was someone in there, right? And I have no way of knowing, nothing. But I felt very intimidated because I had on running shorts and I was vulnerable, sweaty, just a nobody in an office with these two men. That it felt very predatory and uncomfortable. I have to say that when I made that ugly face,
Now, whether you believe her or not, that's a different question. But based on what she's saying as a young person, 25 years old, imagine going through an experience like that. These things happen, and these things are real, and we can't just shrug it off and say people are just making things up just because it's against someone that we believe in.
He backed off. It wasn't like he was aggressive after that, but he made a really vulgar comment following. And I don't know if it was like, you know, like locker room talk in the 90s, the way men were, but he made a joke to Epstein, oh, I thought she was 16. And I thought that was so strange because at the time my sister she was 15 actually. And I didn't think it was funny, even though it was like, it was just a little bit inappropriate, but I thought, I don't know what it was. But anyway, and then they entered that room. Epstein's ex.
Okay, so that's her story. What do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts about that? Let's go back and look at some of the comments. We missed a few. Let's see here. Okay. We have Nikki says, how are you telling someone how to, I guess she said, run the show? Okay. All right. Thank you, Nikki, for speaking up. How are you okay telling someone how to conduct their channel? All right. I guess you're talking to Kay. Thank you very much. Okay. Kay says, you don't get it, man. I'm asking a legitimate question for an answer right now. Don't show something on the screen that it is not. Okay. So Kay on the record does not agree with some of the videos, perhaps. Charles Frizio says, this is the biggest crock of BS I've ever heard. Okay. All right. All right. The videos are definitely floating. I don't expect everybody to love them or appreciate them, but these are videos that are concerning in regards to Donald Trump and Epstein. David says, how many years do we have to keep listening to this lying nonsense? Okay. David is very upset, folks. All right. David says, she's a quack. Okay. All right. She's a quack. Okay, so that was his opinion of the lady. Okay. Let's see who we have. Mashona says, Kate, please be respectful to the host. Thank you. Okay, very good. Carlos says she used too many four-letter words to describe. I think she's nothing but a liar, making up, insinuating like the unrighteous are. Okay. Thank you, Carlos, for your participation and your comment. Really good hearing from you. David says, I think she's just another nut job. Okay. All right. So a lot of people do not believe her. Reverend Green says link. Okay. Not sure what that is referring to. David says, I'm not upset. I'm just tired of listening to it. Okay. Well, thank you for that comment. A lot of people are circulating these videos and we're going through them and seeing what you guys have to say about it, and a lot of people are speaking up. They don't like the videos, especially I see some people here from MAGA, and they're not happy about the videos, people. Here we go.
Girlfriend speaking out tonight, Stacy Williams.
Now, this is Epstein's ex-girlfriend. She's telling her story, folks. Here's another female talking about their experience with Donald Trump and Epstein.
A former Sports Illustrated model who dated Epstein in the early 90s has spent time with both Epstein and Donald Trump together. In one disturbing alleged incident, which Williams went public with last year before the presidential election, Williams says Trump groped her in front of Epstein at Trump Tower in 1993. Let's talk about this incident, alleged incident in 1993, where you say that Trump groped you in front of Epstein. I do want to note that CNN has spoken to 3 friends of yours who confirmed that you told them about this alleged incident over past decades.
So again, we have another person, another victim speaking up about their experience. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to call her a crock too? Or at some point, do you start to say, hey, there may be a little bit of there here. We have more than one witness.
Can you tell me more about what happened that day and particularly how Trump and Epstein interacted?
Yeah, and before I get into the details of what happened, which, you know, obviously I told you guys.
Yeah, before she gets into the details, Animal Magic makes a solid point. 15 million people are losing Medicaid, folks. I think that's a very strong point from Animal Magic. Thank you for joining. I think you're new here. I appreciate you bringing up a point that's on the minds of many people, whether you're MAGA, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, a lot of people are being affected in a financial way when it comes to Medicaid and some of the other services. Okay, John Stevens says full of it. Okay, you think she's full of it? Okay, thank you, John, for your comments. I think you're returning. I think I've interacted with you before, John. Thanks for coming back.
And I've shared with multiple outlets the specifics of the assault that happened. I want to point out that I was polygraphed before I did all this by one of the most renowned examiners in the world. Michael Wolff has hundreds of hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein where
Okay, so for those of you that are saying she's full of it, remember now she's saying that she was polygraphed. What do you think about that? She has to be telling the truth according to her, right? We have so many comments coming in, so I'm just going to take a moment to make sure I breeze through and get as many as I can. Hacking is definitely coming back. I think I remember that name. Sierra 1-2 Step out. Okay, I don't understand what that means. Lee Higgs says 15 million illegals need to come off Medicaid. All right, so we have a good argument back saying that the 15 million are illegals. Okay, what do you guys think about that? Mashona says, David, please watch your language to be respectful of YouTube policies. Okay, David, she's putting you in check now. Don't push it. Okay. So, okay, very good. Lee says that. Okay, Mashona. Okay, Gary Ford said Epstein convicted in first case 2008, charged in late 2006. Clinton as to whether the email contained classified information at the time it was sent and received. Okay, thank you, Gary. Ellen says, oh, brother, why did she wait all these years to say something? She's just another attention seeker. Also, those deserve Medicaid are not being cut off. Okay. So we have some clarification. I love it. I love the way you guys are making your arguments. You're making your points. It's a beautiful thing. Lee Higgs is in the building. Polygraphs is useless. Okay. So we have a quick answer about the polygraphs. Okay. Ellen says polygraphs don't work. Okay. Gary Ford. We have a lot of critical thinkers here. I love critical thinking. I like people that don't just accept the run-of-the-mill words that come out of the babble that come out of people's mouths. All right. Gary Ford says July 5th, 2016 statement by the FBI Director James Comey on the investigation of Secretary Hillary Clinton's use of a personal email system. Okay. Thank you, Gary. John Stevens is back, says no, Polly, don't hold up in court. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the input. Bradley McKay says 15 million illegal aliens and lazy as people who don't want to work. It took thousands of dollars and 6 years for me to get disability Medicaid after a horrible car accident and 7 spinal fusions. I feel for you, Bradley. I'm sorry. I know what that spinal fusion is like. I know it's a tough thing to deal with. So I hope you're feeling better these days. But that's just a side point from me to you. Gary Ford says 8 of those chains contain information that was top secret of the time they were sent. 36 chains contain secret information at the time, and 8. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Leo Paldo says CNN is extremely propagandist. Okay, we understand that. But we're focusing on her testimony about her situation and what she says she experienced. David says she doesn't bow YouTube. Okay. Sipping Lib Tears is back. Says, hey, so like many would wonder, all these late accusers. Okay. You have to question the time. Okay. David says, don't believe all women. Crazy believe their own fantasy. Okay. That's a point. Okay. Joe Lucero says, yeah, 5 million of those are kids. Should they go get a job as well? Okay, good point, Joe. I love the way the argument is building and going back and forth. Gary Ford says, did Hillary delete emails on server to hide Epstein files? Okay. Someone else made an argument and says those secure documents that Donald Trump was found with at Mar-a-Lago, did they have anything to do with Epstein? So here's a solid, good point you're making, Gary. Gary, keep them coming. David says the attention should be on Trump's success. Red wave 2026. Okay, so you think the midterms are going to swing heavily in the way of Donald Trump, the Trumpians. Okay, we'll see what happens. Reverend Green says, yeah, that link didn't work. Okay. All right. Mashona says, welcome in and thanks for joining the conversation. Do you remember to hit the like button on the way in? Okay. Gary says, other work-related emails that they did not produce to state that we did not find elsewhere and that are now gone because of the deleted all emails that did not return to the state. Okay, was deleted. David says, not that 5 million kids, parents need to YouTube policies. Okay. No. Sorry, that the comment switched up. Okay. Says, know that 5 million kids, parents needs to get a job. Okay, thank you. Comments are moving so fast. Okay, very good. Let's get back to this video.
Jeffrey confirmed to Michael what the two of them did to me long before I came out and told you all of this. So those are two critical data points that you need to have, and now I'll walk you through what happened. I was dating Jeffrey. He was always talking about Donald. It was his bestie and everything, and he was joking about how Donald thought I was hot, and Donald thinks I'm this or whatever, you know, wants to talk to you. And he was telling me this as we were taking a walk down Fifth Avenue one day. And he said, let's stop in and see him at his offices. So we went up to his office in Trump Tower, and within a couple of minutes, Donald was outside of his door, and his hands were all over me. They were on my breasts, they were on my butt, they were on, you know, my hips, up and down, while the two of them just kept having a normal conversation. I don't remember exactly what was in the conversation. Again, this was, you know, we're talking 90, this is 93 now. It was something about, it was irrelevant. It was like, oh, Stacy's career's on fire. She just did Sports Illustrated again, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they were back and forth, smiling and grinning and carrying on a conversation while Donald ran his hands all over me. And, you know, when that happened.
Okay, so here we have another individual giving their testimony on national television talking about what happened in regards to Epstein and Donald Trump. So what do you guys think? Do you think that there's some there here or no? All right. So before we move forward with the video, I'm going to take a comment. We have Reverend Green. I'm going to allow him to come up and give us a quick rundown of what he'd like to present. Okay, maybe not. I'm not sure what's going on there. So this is so out of pocket. All right, so let's get back to the comments here really quickly. Not good. Bob says, lock Trump up. Okay, wow. So they thinks Trump should go to jail. Brett says, so if there was anything bad in the Epstein files, why wouldn't Biden have come out with it during his 4 years? That's a great point. You think when they were losing badly, they would have dropped some of this heavy information. So that's a good point. Leo Nation says, baloney. Okay. All right. Let me remove this person from the, Okay, let's kick that person out. Okay, I had to remove that person. Not sure what's going on with these guests. All right, Swamp for News gifted a Watching the World membership. Thank you very much. You're always supporting the channel. I appreciate it very much. Eric says, everyone, please enjoy the show tonight that the team has put together and stay respectful, please. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bordo says, thank you to Swamp Fox News. Gary Ford says, that's why FBI and DOJ would not file a case. Obama would be in the same place as Trump if now in national security could be involved, but damage done to Hillary's campaign. Okay, thank you. Trina's right says no. Okay, are you saying no to the lady's story? Okay. Swamp Fox News says, Bordo, hello, my friend. David Lemke says, I think Trump has nothing to do with underage girls. I think no one has proved that thus far. Right now, people try to insinuate, but nothing nefarious has come out yet. Okay. Mashona says, Swamp Fox News, thank you for your membership. Okay. Brett says, said it was in 93. Okay. So that occurred in 93. Okay. Hyponation says typical that MAGA fools would ignore the testimony by multiple women. Okay. All right. Thank you for your comment. I don't think the MAGA folks are going to be take too kindly to that, calling them fools, though. Michael Edgman says it sounds like a lie because she isn't saying stop or having Jeffrey tell him to stop. Okay, thank you. Swamp Fox News says my pleasure. Okay. Swamp Fox News says Biden could have come out with anything against Trump on the Epstein files because the Democrats, who is also in Epstein files, they can't turn on each other as far as that goes because both sides are. Okay, so that's a balanced view. Hardy Martell says that is not a good point. Maybe Biden did not know. Okay. Michael Edgman says too many dim donors went to Epstein Island. Okay, all right. So that's a point for us to consider as well. Let's get back to the video, folks.
Happens in broad daylight in someone's office and an assistant's walking back and forth, you're in shock. If it happens in a dark alleyway, right, you defend yourself. But when it's hidden in its brazenness like that, which is Donald Trump's forte, you know, you go into shock. So I froze, and it was over and very quickly. It was a few minutes, and then we got back in the elevator, and Jeffrey's energy had changed. He was like seething. He was enraged. He wouldn't make eye contact with me. And then we got out on the street on Fifth Avenue, and he looked at me and he just started yelling at me, saying, "Why did you let him do that?" And he was so enraged. And then I remember thinking, like, why did I? I felt like I was coming back into my body at that moment, and I was confused. So that's the story of the assault.
And I do just want to note, Stacy, that Trump has denied these allegations, which you are well aware of. And I know at times you've referenced videos which we have not confirmed the existence of. But I know that you felt that this was coordinated later when you looked back on it. What was it that made you draw that conclusion? Well, I was sort of known in the industry for being somewhat combative with you know, photographers who would expose themselves or do inappropriate things, or even guys.
Reverend Green, if you'd like to come on the stage, I would just need you to remove the mask. I'm sorry.
Who would touch or harass on the streets. And Jeffrey was aware of that. And I think he was excited. I think the gist in my mind, given what he knew and the way it played out, was, hey, you know, I'm going to deliver this person to you who's actually not going to let you get away with what you do. And I did, because I froze. Like I said, when it's hidden in its brazenness like that, you freeze. And, you know, he's a master of that. So, I mean, he talked about it, right? He talked about pussy grabbing on the Access Hollywood tape.
Okay, so what do you guys think? Is she making a solid argument? She's also tying in the video that we saw previously from the Access Hollywood. She's talking about her actual experience with Donald Trump and Epstein, and she's trying to make a valid point, giving you other points of interest to consider as well.
And tonight, if you're aware, President Trump has filed this libel lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal over its reporting that there was this note bearing Trump's name as a signature and an outline of a naked woman that was included in a 50th birthday album for Epstein in 2003, a note that also depicted an imaginary conversation between the two men. And part of it reads, quote, Donald saying, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, yes, we do. Come to think of it, Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me that the last time I saw you." And then finally, Donald, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret."
Now, we know that Donald Trump has sued the Wall Street Journal in regards to this whole issue, talking about this picture that was drawn or what have you. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is a legitimate story? Most of the information that we presented tonight, people feel like it's you know, all made up. kind of have a hoax going on, similar to what Donald Trump has been saying multiple times. What do you guys think when it comes to this whole issue about Donald Trump drawing this picture that they're talking about here? Tell us what you think in the comments.
Trump called that letter fake. He said it was out of character for him because he never wrote a picture or drew a picture in his life. Wrote a picture, I think he said. No, it's not his kind of language. Based on your time with both men, does that sound out of character to you?
What, are you kidding me? I know what they were up to together. It happened to me. I was polygraphed. I have the post-assault postcard with a love note. So I have the receipts.
Okay, so she have her receipts and she came forward with information. David Lemke says, if Biden didn't know, Hillary did know. Okay, all right. Swamp Fox News says, you are welcome, brother. Thank you. MAGA says, unbelievable. Gary Ford says, but now they Democrats are the ones that are being accused of covering, plotting to hide evidence. Okay, thank you. Reginald Boyd says, why people believe a man who constantly lies. Okay, so you think Donald Trump is a liar. Okay. Let's see. We have another gift from Swamp Fox News. Thanks for all the support. We really do appreciate it. Jimmy says, lies, 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 typical of CNN. Okay, so good point. Swamp Fox News, very welcome. Michael Edgman says, she froze, but remember what they were talking about, so she stayed with Jeffrey after that incident. Okay, well, that's a good point that you're making. That's a point that they made at Sean Diddy Combs trial as well. They said that after these claims were made or the incidents happened, that the women chose to stay. So what do the rest of you guys think about that comment? A lot of people think that that's victim blaming. DE lying, sister. Okay, so you think she's lying. B Funk says, what mask? Okay. That was a message to someone coming on stage, so you probably wouldn't understand. Lisa Murray says, where is Katie? Okay, Katie. We'll have to research that more. David Lemke says, what was she doing there in the first place? Okay, that was Epstein's girlfriend. DE says, what is on your face, lady? Okay, all right. Swamp Fox News says, smash the like button. Got 332 watch and only 37 likes. Come on, guys. Oh, thank you for the support. Falling Kiwi says, it's easy to make accusation without proof. Okay, that's true. DE says, why were you there? Looking for a setup. Okay, looking for a come up. Okay. Lisa Murray says, Katie will tell you how he gets down. Okay. All right. A lot of thoughts about Katie. We want to know more. Raul says, once again, if Trump has anything to do with Bill Clinton's best friend, it would have been released already. There's no way Biden and Kamala had Trump's name mixed with Epstein and didn't release it. That's a good point. A lot of people keep making that point. That's a solid one. DE says, nah, you're an opportunist. Okay, she's an opportunist. David Lemke says, nope, Wall Street lies too. Okay. David Lemke says, so does CNN lie? Okay, a lot of people don't believe CNN. Annika says, impeach the PDF. Says Donald Trump, impeach him, get him out of there. Okay, Nikki says, why would she make it up? I believe that's what your comment's going to say. D says, yeah, okay, you're a liar. So a lot of people feel she's a liar. Did you date Biden? Okay, that's from DE. Nikki says, make up that story. Okay, Reverend Green says, I got to keep my anonymity. Okay, so, all right, I'll give you a fair shot if you want to come back up. We had some weird things happen on the last show, so I'm a little gun shy, but I'll give you a fair shot if you want to come up. Hopefully, everything is intact and presentable. So come back up if you'd like to try it again. Gary Ford says, raided Trump, took any files showing no Russian involvement, then rewrote FBI intelligence files to destroy his administration while looking for anything that could prove they. Okay, Natalie Wilsey says, no hoax. The lawyer to victim says Epstein's lawyer and accountant are a state executor. He knows they have the birthday book. Okay, let's get back to the video.
Where are Donald Trump's receipts? Where are they? I know what they're up together, and I know what that means. It's very clear. It wasn't baking or fishing.
And we remember when Trump famously told New York Magazine, "I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy, he's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." One of the women at the center of the Epstein sex trafficking case, Virginia Giuffre, who recently died by suicide, claimed that she was actually recruited as a minor by Epstein's collaborator Ghislaine Maxwell at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, so the young lady that unalived herself recently, I believe it was earlier this year, she claims that she was taken from, or her relationship started with Epstein and Maxwell from the Mar-a-Lago. Check it out. These are the words of Donald Trump himself.
Were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad, but that story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young
Yeah.
women.
So Donald Trump admits that people were taken from Mar-a-Lago. I guess they would have to have him define what taken really means when he's saying it, but he does confirm it.
In the spa.
In the spa.
Yeah, it's people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago, and people were taken out of the spa.
So Epstein was taking young girls out of the spa. One of them was 17 years old when she was taken. The girl, Virginia, I believe, the one that we just spoke of that was unalived herself.
Hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa.
So Donald Trump says he heard that Epstein was taking girls from the spa. And so he spoke with Epstein about it and told him, listen, we don't like you doing this, right? And it continued.
I want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen...
So Donald Trump says he kicked Epstein out. And I believe it was around 1997, from what I understand, that he actually ended his relationship with Epstein.
Person, does that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know.
Okay, so anybody that might be doubtful, Donald Trump has confirmed. He's saying that the girl, Virginia, the one we just showed, you heard her words. Donald Trump confirmed that she was taken by Epstein from Mar-a-Lago Spa. You heard it from the, as they say, from the horse's mouth.
No, none whatsoever.
Virginia Roberts was working in the spa at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach when British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her to multimillionaire Jeff.
Okay, so as we can see where this is going. Epstein's money is what's causing a lot of this to happen. Corruption Hurt says Biden loves Coke. Oh my, geez. Okay. CRXR, welcome back. I remember you. Biden was a cardboard cutout with an auto pen taped to it, and I'm surprised if he knew that what year it was. Okay. DE says I was there. You dated Jeffrey. Okay. You're talking about the lady that was on previously. Okay, TB says, Swamp Fox News, Disney owns Fox and CNN. Get a clue, bro. Another sheep. Okay. Thank you, TB. Alvin Phillips says, these were not women. They were little girls. Okay. All right. Thank you. DE says, I have a video footage. You and Giselle had tea and buns together. Okay. All right. Show us the video. Show us the tape. DE says you were doing lines off of Biden's tush. Okay. TB says Disney owns both channels. Okay. John Stevens, let's ask the Reverend if women still listen to the serpent. Very good question. You're talking about Genesis and how the woman listened to the serpent in the Garden of Eden, right? Okay. He's making a biblical reference there. TW says, how about the Blue Jays? All right. How about it? Thank you, TWC. David Lipke says her boyfriend was Epstein, but talks about being groped. She's not credible either. Okay. Gary Ford is back, says Obama, FBI, and CIA rewrote documents clearing Trump after Trump won, then plotted with the FBI to set Trump up. Day one, Comey lied. Okay, all right. So Comey, we know how Donald Trump feels about Comey. He can't stand the man. He also fired his daughter recently, and she's out of the office. Brian Santos says truth is both sides implicated, so no one wants it out. The whole political elite of America, if not the world, are involved with the PDF activities. Okay, TV says MSNBC laughing his butt off. Okay, let's get back to it.
Free Epstein.
The training started immediately. I mean, it was everything down to how to give a blood.
Okay, so this is the actual female that unalived herself. This is Virginia, who fell prey to Epstein and initially at Mar-a-Lago from the spa.
Job. How to be quiet, be subservient, give Jeffrey what he wants. A lot of this training came from Ghislaine herself. And being a woman, it kind of surprises you that.
So it looked like they're saying Ghislaine was running interference. She was the one setting up all of these activities, these suspicious and deplorable activities. And she's actually the person that's up to grabs to getting pardoned, folks. Do you think she should be pardoned? Hearing some of the stories that happened, was she just as much of a culprit as Epstein was? What do you guys think? Tell us.
A woman could actually let stuff like that happen, but not only let it happen, but to groom you into doing it. And then there's Jeffrey, who's telling you, I want it this way. No, go slower and don't do that. And
Virginia Giuffre's two brothers and their wives, all family.
Okay, so now we get a chance to hear from this girl that was just speaking at, unfortunately, this year, unalived herself. We get a chance to hear from her family, and they'll tell you exactly how much it hurt for her to go through that and to lose her. CRXR says, notice they don't have a picture of Trump and Epstein together after 94. It's almost like he quit hanging out with the guy a long time ago. Okay, good point. Brian Santos says, shaking my head, painfully obvious. Okay, Reginald Board is back. Man, he is a liar, and people want to believe because they have no character just like him. Okay, Annika says, are we sure they unalived herself? I'm not buying it. Okay, so you think she's still around, or you think someone else did something to her? Tell us all about it. Tell us what you think, Annika. Gary Ford says, is it that clip says the same words I posted from the Clinton lawsuit testimony and Epstein's conviction? Judge barred 16 witnesses and victims. A Democrat lifer. Okay. Annette Usher says, black-eyed people. Okay. CR says, I thought assisted unalivement was only legal in Canada. Okay, so you think it was some hanky-panky involved. Ohio Dad 70 says, NMP. What is that smell? This dude is a certified liar. I would not waste my time listening to a grifter freak around and find out. Okay, Gang of One says, Midas Touch always has the receipts. Okay, yes, they do. And that Usher says his eyes have gotten darker. Okay. Bordeaux says tea and buns, yum. Okay. All right. John Stevens says yes. Thomas Jordan in the building says release the files, President PDF. Okay. So a lot of people are for Trump. We have a lot of people against Trump here, but it looks like we're all getting along. CRXR says what files that would be specific. Okay. All right. Thumbs up from Thomas Jordan. Thank you. Gary Ford says money, money, mo. Okay. Thomas Kunan says she was threatening them as well. Okay. Wow. Oh, okay. So Ghislaine Maxwell was threatening the girls as well as trying to lure them into the web of Epstein. Okay. Why do you guys think that Donald Trump does not want the files released? Tell us, do you think that there's a bigger picture there? Tell us what you think. Thomas Annette Usher says, good content, cool channel, GL guys. Okay. All right. Gang of One says, Donnie the Diddler. That's the first time I've heard that one. That's very unique. CRXR. And by the way, Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail, folks. The judge says, not today. Can't do it. So we'll have to see how much time he gets in October the 3rd. CRXR says the flight logs have been out for years. Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book was auctioned in the UK, and the only thing we don't have is a grand jury testimony. Okay, tell them release the files. We want to know what's going down.
Family together, telling me in an extensive and emotional interview in literally just the last hour that their sister was a person, not an object. They are urging the president not to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, who they call a monster. Giuffre died by suicide in April. A senior administration official tells NBC News no leniency is being given or discussed. The family of Giuffre says her voice is still with them. We're going to play that conversation now for you in full. So, Danny, you and the family have come out with this statement over the course of the last 24 hours here. Can you tell me a little bit, what prompted you and the family to come out with this statement about everything that's happened in the last couple of days?
I think what prompted us to come out was that our sister's name was invoked. And I feel like anything to do with her, since her passing, I think that she has to be represented by her family. She's very clear with us how she wanted her legacy pulled forward, and I didn't want her name to be said and not be clear, if it makes sense.
On that note, when you said the
Okay, so the family is expressing their concern about their sister, their love. It's a really sad situation. And we had a chance tonight to see how it all started, folks. Started at Mar-a-Lago, according to what's being reported. James Boer says she was the groomer, talking about Maxwell. Okay. Bordeaux says, welcome. Thank you all for being here. Please hit the like button. All opinions are welcome. Please be respectful with your words in chat. Okay, and if you'd like to come up and chat, tell us what you think, feel free to do so. We ask that you be respectable and show your camera. You have to show your camera, folks. We had a bad incident the other day, so we have to be more cautious. Okay. Roz Kraska says Trump wants to pardon Maxwell to buy her silence. Okay. All right. Gary Ford says we're seeing the reasons they went at Trump. He found out the Democratic Epstein connection. Okay. So that's a unique perspective. You think it's a switcheroo. Okay. Michael Clancy Jr. says that dude made that up. It was not a good point. Okay. All right. So that's made up. CRXR says if Biden's handlers had anything on Trump, they would have released it immediately. You have to be a special kind of delusional to think otherwise. Okay. I think I could get with that. Lolly says the victims have already testified Trump was not involved. His name is mentioned, but it's incidental, not criminal. If you don't know what that means, then you shouldn't be in the conversation. Good point. Solid point. Decarius Yours says, I don't think he has the authority to release them. Okay. Lolly says he's ordered them released. He's trying to get them released, but the Democrats have tampered with them over the last 4 years, as per the testimony of the intelligence agents. Okay. Michael Clancy says, hello back to you, Michael. Rich, I mean, he was dodgy about his taxes. Okay. Good point. It took many years for that to. Did he ever release the taxes? That's interesting. Luchelle Sartain says, what about Clinton going 28 times to the island of Epstein? Saw him 17 times in the White House. Okay. Wow. 17 times in the White House. CRXR says the only thing we don't have in the grand jury testimony, Trump ordered the seal falls in New York to be released. Files in New York, it should be released. And on Obama appointed judge blocked that. Okay. Good point. That happened last week. Michael Clancy, you guys like Tom as Holman. Okay. All right. A lot of comments, folks. Thank you guys for all the participation. Let's get back to the video.
The president invoked your sister's name. He said specifically that word when he described her as being stolen, having been quote unquote stolen. What went through your mind when you heard that?
Gang of One says she needs a voice and her brothers are speaking up. Isn't that amazing? It's good when your family stand for you, even in your absence. You need somebody supporting you, and I think it's a beautiful thing. Whether people like it or not, at least her family is coming to speak forward. I wonder what happened during those years, though. Nick Anderson says, we love Holman. He's a good man. All right.
I think we were shocked by it. Especially to use the term stolen. Because she's not an object. She's a person. She's a mom. She's a sister. And she was recruited by Max.
So it looks like the family has taken issue with Donald Trump saying that she was taken as though she was some sort of object. And I think the family has really honed in on that particular word and that particular aspect. And they appear to be very upset about what happened to their sister.
Well, she wasn't stolen. She was recruited at Mar-a-Lago, his property, place where she was looking forward to having fun that summer. And it just kind of makes us wonder.
Now, Donald Trump said that she was hired by Epstein. Her brother says that she was recruited. But how can you use the word hired when you know that the work that she was taken to do wasn't really legitimate work? So I find that rather puzzling. What do you guys think?
I mean, how much he knew. Especially, and it's in our statement that a couple of years later, he made a statement on Epstein and, how he liked young girls. And so, yeah, it does make us question how much did he know?
So he just referred to the statement that we saw previously tonight when Donald Trump allegedly made the statement that Jeffrey Epstein liked young girls. He liked beautiful girls, but he liked them on the younger side. So again, they're using these words that are out there about Donald Trump to substantiate their point or to make the argument.
Sky, you referenced the comment that President Trump made in 2002. You just referenced it there. Did Virginia ever talk about Donald Trump relative to her time at Mar-a-Lago?
Okay, so just real brief here. Gary Ford says FBI and unreleased Obama signed classified docs are new. Okay. Decarius Yours says I agree with that. CRXR says the fact that a circuit court judge is backwards whenever America can stymie the will of the president is not disturbing to anyone here. Checks and balances are not the purview of the circuit court judge. Thank you. Greg Crocker says Democrats killed Epstein in New York. Okay, it was the Democrats who did it. Okay. Sniper says if she had recruited from McDonald's, would you blame the owner of McDonald's? Okay, good point. Good point. Gary Ford said Epstein convicted and Democrats kept going like nothing happened for years. Okay. Stalk Trader says, hi, I'm from Canada and wondering why so many people hate their leader. That's like talking trash about your boss in the workplace or just not something respectable to do. Okay. That's a good point. Father F says, why no tariffs on Israel? Okay. You want Israel to have tariffs too, Father F says, why is Israel exempt? Good question. Gang of One says, Holman is not a good man. Okay. Michael Clancy says, hey, stock trader, have you not been paying attention to our dear leader? He is not a respectable man. Okay. So not everybody's happy. Tonight, I'd say the majority of people have been very happy with Donald Trump. They're Trump supporters, but we have quite a few that are holding the gun. Keeping them honest, folks. Michael Clancy says, your name is traitor, though. I don't expect you would understand. Okay. Decarius Yours says, I can understand why. Jasmine S. says, Trump's administration just rescued 37,000 people. Okay. All right. Save a lot of lives. Okay. Michael Clancy says, it makes sense. Trump sees people as tools. He cares about no one but himself. Okay. All right. Michael Clancy says Jasmine, Trump is a horrid human being, and anyone who doesn't see that has very poor judgment. Okay. Yep says he didn't rescue anybody. Okay. We have some pushback on the 37,000 people saying Donald Trump did not do it, folks. He did not do it. Let's finish up the video.
Lago?
No. No, that wasn't really a conversation that we had. She was always really good at protecting us from a lot of these things. So no, that wasn't a conversation that we had.
Okay. All right. So that covers the video. We're going to go through a few more comments. Gann says, I think you need to be talking to the Clintons. Gary Ford says, Bill Clinton was asked to be subpoenaed and witness said was there and his name was sworn testimony was used, but judge refused. Why? Okay. Mashona says the opinions expressed in the chat are those of the person expressing them and does not reflect the views of the host. Thanks for joining and welcome in. Okay, yeah, we definitely appreciate everyone. Thank you guys for the likes, the shares, and the subscriptions. Please keep it coming. We will be back again tomorrow night going through the latest news pertaining to whatever's hot in the media at the moment. Tonight, though, we wanted to go through a lot of the videos that people are putting out when it comes to Donald Trump to see, is there any there? And quite frankly, there are some disturbing things, but nothing that would, at least there's nothing we showed that would pin him to being nefarious for underage individuals. So Gang of One says lies about the Democrats. Okay. Yep says grab them by the what? Yep. Who knows? Gang of One says respect is earned. Canada chick. Okay. Yep says Trump said it. I just do it. David Lemke says neither is Prime Minister of Canada. Okay. Good pushback. I love it when everybody's debating and doing so in a respectful manner. Gann says, Democrat says 4 years to release Epstein tapes. All we heard was crickets. Okay. Fate's Calm is in the building. Hope everything is okay with your wife. Late to the party. Hey, everybody. Okay. All right. Fates, Eric is telling you hello. Gary Ford says Obama cannot step in like he did in the Fast and Furious and use national security as a stop of prosecution of Eric Holder. Okay. All right. Good point. Thank you very much for that. And Gary Ford says, first pardon ever of an attorney general ever by Obama. Okay. All right. So we covered a lot of ground tonight, folks. When it comes to Donald Trump and Epstein, we went through a lot of the videos. Feel free to go back and watch. I collected most of the videos that are floating around that people are saying, pins Donald Trump to Epstein and might give you an indication as to why he don't want to release the files. But nothing there that was sinister to substantiate the president being with someone underage. So at least we can come to that conclusion. And we'll have to see how this all plays out in the media or in court. Gary Ford says, first part never. No, I read that out. Jersey Mike says, I hope Trump meets the Grim Reaper soon. Okay. Gary Ford says we should report Jersey Mike. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I appreciate having each and every one of you guys here. We will be back on tomorrow at noon and tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will go through some videos, some hot clips to see what's happening. We had a lot of participation tonight. A lot of people came back, and I'm truly grateful for that. We have people on different sides of the aisle, and we even have a third party now. We have the American Party by Elon Musk, right? How many of you guys have joined us so far? No one said yes, I believe. But at any rate, I look forward to seeing you guys back tomorrow as well. And again, we want to be respectful to each other and debate in a pleasant way, because we're just having a meeting of the minds. We're not here to tear each other apart. The world does enough of that. So we're trying to just see what's happening in the media. And also, it's fun to read your comments and see what you guys think. So until next time, until tomorrow at noon, you guys be safe. Have a good night. Make sure you watch the stock market. I always try to encourage people to do that. Right now, with the development with the tariffs, the stock market took a bit of a hit. But remember, buy low and sell high. That's how you win in the stock market. So when the market is tanking, that's when you want to buy. But when it's riding high, it's not the time to get in, folks. So thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. And I appreciate each person. If you have any questions or concerns, always feel free to reach out to me. You could also come on the show. But we ask that you be presentable and treat everybody with dignity. We're not here to fight. We're not here for any of the drama. We'll leave that for the rest of the world. Good night, folks. All right? And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Different voices, but the same song. Loving a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.